Alright, so I just want to do a little walk around of the Jeep and I'll start it for you. So, not in horrible shape. It does need some body work, unfortunately. I didn't notice in the pictures that the rockers are shot. There's a dent in the door. There's some recorder. I think the patch panel comes up to here, so I might get lucky on that. Bumper's a little pushed in. But other than that, everything's there. The wiper, back wiper arm needs to be replaced. A little bit of trim up there needs to go back up. There's gonna be stuff, but it's really solid. Other than that, neat thing with this one, if you put the key in here and you turn it, the window goes down and up from there, and then you can reach in and you can grab the handle and the gate folds down. It's pretty cool. This side's not too bad. Rockers, a little bit of quarter damage there, or rust rather. Inside's pretty good. Somebody messed with the headlight switch a little bit, and radio's not quite in just right. It stays on all the time. But if you take the faceplate off, you're okay. I'll pull it and rewire it. Inside's not bad at all. And so here's the story on this Jeep. I saw it online. I figured, yeah, I'll just throw a bid on it. I probably won't get it. So I threw a bid on it, and for better or worse, I won. And then I had to wait for about 3 weeks to finally find somebody to drive it or bring it over to me. So we got it delivered yesterday, and I got the paperwork the day before. I wasn't sure if I'd get a salvage title, clear title, bill of sale, what. Well, I got a clear title, much to my surprise. And this car was sold to Copart in 2010. And it was never registered, transferred, titled, nothing. And it was covered in dust. So I'm assuming it was sitting indoors. The paint's not in horrible shape other than, the couple of rust spots here. But I'll probably just drop it off at the body shop later. But anyways, so I got it here, and Brandon and I smelt the gas, and it was, varnish basically. And so we sumped the gas out. Well, first we put a battery pack on it and turned it over, and it turned over real easy, much to my surprise. I didn't know if it would be seized. I had no idea if it would run or nothing. Put a battery on it, took the air cover off, threw some brake cleaner, starter fluid down it, and it started like instantly and ran. And we were like, wow, okay, let's see why it won't run on the tank. And of course then we found the gas was bad, so Brandon sumped the gas out through the fuel line to the fuel pump, which is on the engine, thank goodness. So that'll be easy to replace down the road. And so we took out all the bad fuel, put in good fuel, and it would run beautifully on starter fluid, but it wouldn't stay running. So we're like, okay. So took the carburetor apart, took the top lid off of it, and there was no fuel in the bowl whatsoever. And we're like, okay, well, let's put some fuel in there. So we grabbed a water bottle, cut it in half, put some fuel in there, and when we poured the fuel in, it came right back out. It was leaking. So it's a good thing we tested that first, because last thing we would have wanted done is start it and have gas run all over the engine. But let me find that part. I'll be right back. Alright, so the accelerator pump diaphragm that was in the carburetor was bad. So the gas was leaking out of the bowl, and because it had sat for so long, thankfully the bowl sat empty, so the carb was actually clean. There was no buildup, no varnish, no nothing. But it wouldn't prime, so that it was just had an air pocket or something in there. So we looked around and looked around. I looked for a carburetor, I looked for rebuild kits. Some stuff was in stock, like downtown Houston, but it was Good Friday, so a lot of places were closed. But long story short, I found the part number for this thing, or the description rather, and I searched for it on O'Reilly, and it came up where, obviously it wouldn't come up on the search before for whatever reason, and it was in stock at the O'Reilly right down the road from the house for 10 bucks. So drove down there, grabbed that and a few other things. I'm going to do oil change and whatnot. Put a new air filter in it, and got a fuel filter to pick up today to put in it. I don't think it needs it, but it won't hurt anything. So we did that, and got a fresh battery for it. And what else? I think that's about it. But yeah, we gave it a couple pumps and it just fired right up. And we figured, okay, well, maybe it'll just run off the fuel in the bowl and it'll quit. But just stayed running. It was happy. Had a little bit of radiator steam coming off the cap. And Brandon took the cap off and noticed it was just corroded. And it was overfilled for some reason with fresh radiator fluid, which is really weird. Or at least really good conditioned radiator fluid. So we sumped a little bit out of that. Brandon scrubbed up the neck of the radiator with a brass brush, and put the cap back on, and it was fine. And threw some air in the tires. Did a little safety stop, turn signal, brake light. You know, checked the transmission forward, back, checked the brakes. Everything was good. So we said screw it. Pulled the auction yard sticker off the front of the windshield and allegedly took her down to the gas station and filled her up with premium. Didn't have a single problem. So I'm pleasantly surprised for a non-runner auction find. See if she starts. And it's warming up, but it's got really good oil pressure. The battery chargers nicely. The air is not cold, but hey, you know what? We can resolve that later. It runs cool. We left it running. It was, I don't know, 70 plus, 80 degrees. Of course, you know, we haven't hit the hundreds yet, but we left it running for a while and never got too hot at all. Radio's halfway decent. I'd like to find a flip out screen with GPS because I think that'd be pretty retro cool. Retro modern rather. Tested the four-wheel drive. The four-wheel drive works. It's got high and low underneath the seat. High, low, neutral underneath the seat, and of course you leave it in low. In high, unless you truly need low, and low is only four-wheel only, so you have to be careful with that. I opened up the glove box, and the original owner's manual is in here with the owner's name on it, and he read the entire book and he underlined things that he felt were important. The hood ornament, for whatever reason, is in here. I guess it must have broke off, or maybe they took it off. It's, you know, I'm gonna have to reattach it somehow. Yeah, the interior's, you know, it needs floor mats, and there is some kick panel, you know, damage. It's not the greatest, but, and the door panels, you know, they need to be reattached on the driver's side. The windows don't roll down the greatest. But you know, none of the weather stripping is bad from what I can see. It's still soft. It's not cracked or dry rotted. But yeah, I don't know the history on this car. The title's from Virginia, and the auction was in California, and the transfer for me is from Florida. So I'm sure that'll be a fun day at the DMV. But once it's done, it's done. Yeah. It does have remote key. Well, I don't have the key, but it's got the provisions for it. It has the provisions for GPS and temperature. Excuse me, compass and temperature. And yeah, it needs some work, but I can find nothing wrong with it mechanically. Now, there are a few vacuum lines that have gotten dry rotted that I'm just gonna go grab like 20 feet of vacuum line and case of beer and sit out here and rerun the vacuum lines, and so be it. Yeah, so I'll quit rambling, but yeah, that's the vehicle. I'm pleasantly surprised. I had no idea what I was getting, and it turned out pretty good. The rust has me bummed out, to be honest, because I've been spoiled with my other Jeep, which isn't running right now, but at least, you know, it's not rusted. But there is a significant amount of rust on this vehicle. It seems to be worse on this side, so I don't know if it was previously worked on or what. But you know, at least it runs. I can always drop it off at a body shop and pick it up later, and the problem will be gone. So I'd rather be dropping it off at a body shop than dropping it off at mechanics. Of course, I'd probably try to do it myself anyways, but this is a framed vehicle. So that's kind of nice. And it's got a V8 AMC 360. So yeah, other than the rust, I wasn't too happy about. I'm fairly happy with it. And I just need tags, registration, insurance. So I'm gonna put insurance on it today. I'll put a new set of tires on it. I don't know how old these are, but we put air in them. They were a little low. We put air in them and they held. So yeah, now you know the rest of the story.